groundwork on some of the lessons I learned. So I said, okay, this is interesting. You go to the students are pretty innovative. The industry needs people who have a lot of original thinking, not people who just memorize stuff and got great grades in school. So how do we bridge this gap? What can we really do to make the students active? That was on, okay. All right. So it's one of those wrong alarms, I suppose. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, so let me quickly skip through this. One thing I found is when you are in a startup, you know, you have to expect the unexpected. I mean, things that happen, like the currency conversion calculation that you talked about. You're thrown things at you that are like you don't even expect. We don't prepare the students for that. We prepare the students to study very well-established material, answer preordained questions. Okay, we don't throw things at them. You know, maybe except in quizzes, even there, I think we are nice to them and give the quiz paper slightly before so that they can grade better, right? Well, I found one thing interesting is that in very interesting tech companies, deep technology makes a lot of difference. I mean, there are different ways of being successful. It is attending to a good, choosing a good customer problem to solve is one angle. So technology is not the solution to everything. But if you are deep in tech, there are opportunities that open up that are very, very different from the kind of opportunities. And if you are a small entrepreneur, you know, having something like a deep tech is very useful. Ability to experiment with ideas. That is no one successfully. You don't even know if there are 100,000 games on, let's say, you know, iPad, why like 5 games are more successful than all the other games, right? If there are 500,000 products, why 5 products hit, you know, compared to all other products? So even you have to experiment a lot with ideas, and we don't teach them to experiment with the ideas. The moment you use the term experiment, experiments can either fail or pass. So you are setting up a mindset of it's okay to fail because it's an experiment. And they can't really go and fail too many times in real life. But in college, when you set up experiments where they are allowed to fail, they'll accept how to take learning from that failure and then use it in life, right? So experimenting with that is. You have some expertise, it establishes credibility for you. So when you go out in real life and you want to have conversations, whether it's a job interview or whether it's starting your own company or trying to get your own customers, if you have an expertise, it clearly shows through. When you talk, people listen. And this was a big surprise to me. Like when I went to US, I was really worried because I didn't know what is the level of knowledge. But I went and talked about a subject that I knew fair amount of detail because I failed several times in that topic before. And then when I started recognizing that I knew almost as much as many of the others I was conversing with, gave a lot of confidence, which also changes, you know, the perception people have about you. So how do you establish credibility? This, of course, has nothing to do with the students, but a lot of people think that somehow startups have to do with getting funding. But the best money actually comes from customers, not because of anything else. First of all, you don't have to pay it back. Number 2 is that you don't have to give part of your company. Number 3 is, and the single most important thing is, it is a validation that your idea and your solution has a value. And that is something that you want to perceive. Even if people pay you like 100 rupees, if you are able to take something and get money for it, that teaches you so much. This is money that I earned for doing something. So when students are doing things, like make them build things for which they can go and earn money. However small, doesn't really matter. So if you don't want to do that, you know, you can go about it in a slightly different way. So let me step back for a minute. I think we should encourage students to do startups in colleges. Why do we want to do that? Not because we want them to finish college and just do a startup, even though that will be great. There are very few Anands in the world. But you know, if by going through these experimental startups, they understand everything a little bit better. Things become clearer. The subjects they study they become a lot more focused. So first thing the startup does is it accelerates learning. You learn everything faster. You learn about customers, you learn about market, learn about how to find out, how to do better Google searches to find out whether your products will sell. It makes you T-shaped. T-shaped people are people who are like deep in some area and broad in a lot of areas. And that's basically what entrepreneurs are. Okay, I'll take, yeah. You can physically drag me away from here after a couple of minutes. It makes you work on stuff that matters. So what I'm going to do is, I will quickly step through this. How can we help budding entrepreneurs? So there are these e-cells that are being formed through NEN. Company, organizations like NASCOM and TIE, they help. Lots of different efforts are going on. But the colleges can do something. What they can do is, they can actually even run entrepreneurial games or innovation games inside the college. You basically create a culture of innovation. So I'll come back to this story, and I may skip all the slides if my time runs out, because the story is important. So I went to this college called KCG Technology. I did this talk. At the end of it, they said, can you meet the director? I said, do I really have to meet the director? Because I thought it'll be another formal, limp handshake and one more bouquet or something. So, but it turned out that this lady I met was like a really dynamic person. Her name is Annie Jacobs, and she said, Mr. Dorai, how do you find the students? And I said, they're pretty smart, like I asked them a bunch of questions and they had very good answers, and a lot of them, I said, yeah, I keep hearing this from the students that they have lots of ideas and they want to do something about it. What can you do about it? I was not prepared for that. Maybe 5 lakhs? She said, okay, 5 lakhs, let's do it. So I said, really? I said, this was April 13th or 14th or something. So she said, when can we start? I said, really? I said, I'm leaving for US on May 9th. She said, no problem. May 6th, we'll have an inauguration ceremony. So we had an inauguration ceremony on May 6th. I came back from US in September, so we started in November. First year, what I did was I just walk into classes and I had to pitch to students. Nobody knows, so first question I ask is, what is the difference between idea and innovation? Sometimes I get answers, sometimes I don't get answers. I walk up to them and I show them, hey, there is a campus running on this Android phone. Okay, do you know how it works? He said, campus, yeah, North Pole, something, magnet, also. I said, fine, but on your cell phone there is no magnet. I said, let me think. So you walk into classes and provoke curiosity. You make the students get interested. And then said, okay, this is the kind of stuff we're going to do. One guarantee, no tests, no classes, no lectures. Okay? That is a minimal guarantee we'll give you. You come into this class, come up with your all kinds of crazy ideas, let's talk about them, let's figure out a small part of that idea that works, and let's do it. And this is basically what we did. For 1 year, lots of students came, some guy wanted to build an anti-gravity machine. That was a little too much for me. But other than that, lots of interesting things happened. So second year, this college went and made a presentation somewhere in some forum, and the Department of Science and Technology gave them a grant of 45 lakhs over a 5-year period of time. So you talked about government. I think government should keep doing this. They have to encourage innovation. They get about 8 lakhs every year, and 5 lakhs goes towards 5 student projects, and every student projects actually get money, about 30,000-40,000 rupees at the end of the year when they finish the project. The rest of the money goes towards material and stuff like that. That's amazing. So I'll end with this story, and if you there's a guy by the name Neer Mariappan. This is a typical kid who has come from some rural area into an engineering college, into mechanical engineering, and cannot speak English, which is not uncommon in many of the colleges in Chennai. When I first met him, sir, எனக்கு தமிழில் தான் பேச தெரியும், இங்கிலீஷ் பேச தெரியாது. பரவாயில்ல ட்ரை பண்ணுப்பா யூஸ் I tell him ஒரு சென்டென்ஸில் அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு வேர்டு இங்கிலீஷ் யூஸ் பண்ணு. So I wanted to push him to talk in English a little bit more. But think about this. This kid says, sir, I have an idea. I'll tell it in English because it's a little easier for me. I said, okay, tell me what is your idea. He said, sir, there are a lot of scooter accidents. I said, really? He said, yeah. You know why a lot of scooter accidents happen? Suddenly the driver applies brake, something comes, he applies brake. The driver knows he's applying the brake, so he's kind of braced for it. The pillion doesn't know. They fall off the scooter, they hit their head, they have an accident. Sir, there is a way to prevent it. He said, why? You know, ask pillions not to ride the scooter. I was joking with him. He said, no. He said, just like you have a suspension that is going between the seat and the wheel, you can put a suspension between the front seat and the back seat. And so whenever there is a thing, it is not as if they're ejected, it will move a little bit and it will cushion the shock. I said, oh my God. This kid has been he's like crazy. He goes and spends all his spare time in scooter shops, hanging around, repairing scooters and all. So I said, okay, fine, we'll approve this project. But he had to make a presentation to DST. Guess what? The DST judge who came, one Mr. Banerjee, cannot understand Tamil. So we have to give him a mechanical prof who could try. This fellow we said, you talk, because we want them to see the passion that you have. And then we had this mechanical professor translate what he is talking in Tamil in English. At the end of it, they said, yes, we should go with this project once it was explained to them. What is the cost of the project? We bought a used scooter for 3,000 rupees. Okay. They cut the back. They removed the seat. They got a spring. They did some, mechanical department as a thing. They do all the spring-loaded testing and all. They calculated the weight, the lateral movement. Man, this is application of technology. This is what colleges are for. This is what students should be doing. And whether this project is successful or not, whether it produces a product or not, whether it makes money or not, who cares? It is the innovation it is the way people, it is the kind of thinking that we want people to do. And this is basically what we need to do. Okay, so there are several stories like this, and I can go on, but unfortunately, hey, I have 15 more. Okay, sorry. So tell me when to stop. We can stop now. Okay, thanks a lot. You've been very